Here's something nobody warns you about. Awareness has a cost, and the higher your awareness of people, of patterns, of everything happening in a room at once, the heavier that cost becomes. Most people assume exhaustion comes from doing too much, but psychology points to something quieter, something most people never think to name. There's a specific kind of tired that has nothing to do with how busy your schedule is. It's the kind that comes from how deeply your brain processes everything it encounters. And if this sounds familiar, keep listening. There's a concept in neuroscience called sensory processing sensitivity. It describes brains that don't just receive information, they absorb it, filter it, run it through multiple layers of analysis before letting it settle. Research consistently shows that highly aware individuals process both external stimuli and emotional data at a significantly deeper level than most people around them. And here's the part that matters. Depth of processing isn't free. Every additional layer costs energy. So while others move through a conversation, a meeting, or a social event and feel relatively unchanged, a highly aware person exits the same situation running on considerably less. Not because something is wrong with them, because their brain did considerably more work. The first reason highly aware people are exhausted is that they can't turn the processing off. Most brains have a natural filtering system. Background noise gets ignored, irrelevant details get discarded. The brain conserves energy by deciding what matters and what doesn't. Highly aware brains don't operate that way. The texture of someone's voice when they say they're fine, the slight tension in a room that nobody else seems to notice, the three possible meanings behind a single sentence, all of it gets processed, all of it gets filed. The brain never fully goes off duty. Psychologists call this low latent inhibition, the reduced ability to filter out stimuli as irrelevant. It's the same cognitive feature that drives deep creativity and pattern recognition, but it also means the system runs hotter, longer, with fewer natural breaks. The second reason is that high awareness and high empathy almost always arrive together. This is where the exhaustion deepens. Highly aware people don't just notice what others are feeling. Research on mirror neuron activity suggests they physically simulate those emotional states in their own nervous systems. You don't observe someone's stress from a distance. You absorb it. You carry it home without meaning to. Multiply that across an entire day of human interaction, a difficult colleague, a friend going through something hard, a stranger's frustration in a crowded space, and the accumulated emotional weight becomes genuinely significant. It's not sensitivity as a weakness. It's sensitivity as a system running at full capacity, constantly. Now pause here for a second. Think about the last time you felt truly rested, not just physically, mentally, emotionally. Was it somewhere quiet, away from people, with very little input coming at you from any direction? If that kind of rest is the only rest that actually works for you, there's a reason for that. The third reason is the gap between what's perceived and what can be expressed. Highly aware people carry an enormous amount of internal experience, rich, layered, constantly updated. But translating that inner world into everyday conversation is genuinely hard. Most social environments move fast, surface level. There isn't space for the depth of what's actually being processed inside. So instead of expressing it, they hold it, they compress it. They function on the outside while carrying the full weight of their perception on the inside. That gap between what's felt and what gets said is itself exhausting, like running a program in the background that never fully closes. So what does psychology actually suggest for people who live this way? It doesn't suggest becoming less aware. You can't rewire your brain's processing depth any more than you can choose to stop seeing in color. What it does suggest is deliberate recovery, not passive rest, active restoration, silence, solitude, environments with low sensory demand, time to let the system decompress without new input flooding in. Highly aware people don't need to toughen up. They need to stop apologizing for needing more recovery than most, because the exhaustion isn't a flaw in the system, it's proof the system never stopped working.